Hey everyone, how's it going? I don't know if you can hear that. It is pouring here. I mean, absolutely pouring. I mean, it's really coming down. It's been atrociously hot and humid. I've already had to change twice and it's only 2 o'clock. I mean, it's just, you can't help it. You just sweat like crazy. And of course, this shop is not air conditioned. So we got fans running everywhere. So there's probably a lot of background noise. I'm sorry, I can't really help that. So what do I got now? Well, I have a 2003 Chrysler Town & Country Enter Van. What's an Enter Van? It's one of those handicap or wheelchair accessible minivans. It's got the lowered suspension and everything else, or raised suspension, I should say, in the lower floors. So the gentleman that owns this, he needs to have a vehicle like this to drive, and it's set up, full drive controls and everything else. So what happened was, he said all of a sudden he lost power steering and he realized the alternator light had come on. Okay, sounds like a broken belt. So he had it towed in. And we've worked on this thing a few times in the past. I don't think I've ever made a video on it though. I've made videos on other wheelchair accessible vans, but not this one. So what happened? Well, obviously the belt, well, not obviously, I haven't shown you yet, but the belt is missing. So why is the belt missing? Well, normally on a serpentine built vehicle, it's because something seized up or tensioner locked up, something along those lines. Usually it's not a belt failure just from a belt failure. Usually those things will start to lose part of the grooves and stuff like that. I've actually never seen one fail and nothing else be wrong. So let's see what we got going on here. So here is the van, and I already have it set up. These things are a little bit of a pain to set up because it's actually bulged out like that. Although the lift does touch just a bit right here, but that's normal on this. Unfortunately, you have no choice because of the way the mounting points are set up on this. I can't get this thing any lower to get the lift under it. The lift is actually just about touching it when I got it into place. So, what do we have here? All right, so from up top, I can spin the alternator, and the alternator spins. When I get to this pulley is completely locked up. So this is just an idler pulley on this. So I don't know if that's the only thing, only item that's locked up. I can actually see the belt back there. See? So is that the only thing locked up? I don't know. I think that's a power steering pump back there. Oops. Oh, got some thunder. Yeah, I can spin the power steering pump. I don't think you can see that though. Yeah. So I'm going to put this thing up in the air because these are easier to access through the side. I'm going to do that because I want to see if there's anything else that's possibly seized up. Because then obviously I'm going to have to get something else. But I think it's probably just the idler seized up. So up in the air, really all you're going to do is you're going to take this wheel and cut it out to the right. And then you got to take this shield down. This year, some years they use 10mm headed bolts. This uses push pins. There's one here, one there, and usually there's one here. So I gotta get those out of the way, get that shield down, see exactly what's going on, and go from there. A lot of these things too, especially up north, these tubes rot out. It's a lower hose tube, goes from the water pump. So let me get those clips out, let's get this off and take a look. Alright, so underneath here you can see the broken belt, and I already noticed what the problem is. I don't know if anybody else can see what the problem is, other than a broken belt. Alright, water pump spins fine. There's no play in it. I'm trying to wiggle it. That spins fine. I'm going to try the tensioner, but I'm pretty sure that's okay. AC spins fine in idle, and the compressor spins fine. That compressor's been replaced. But look real close up there. Notice something? You notice something? That is a clip from the air cleaner box. It fell off and wedged in between the idler pulley. Huh. Well, that would explain why the idler pulley locked up, and it would explain why I cut the belt apart. So, let me see. I guarantee you it damaged the pulley. I can actually see a mark right there. Let me let this down. I'm going to unbolt that pulley and see what we can see. Take my light out of here. I don't know if that helped at all. Yeah, it did. All right. Let's do that. Let's get that out. And also, here's the belt. that thing just cut right through the belt. That's what happened. I mean, the belt had some cracks in it, but the belt didn't fail from belt wear. Oops, sorry about that. Let's look at this end. Yeah, I mean, hello, focus. That's a straight up cut. That's what that is. It just sliced the belt. All right, so let's do that. Let's let this down. And let's take that pulley off of there. I'm pretty sure it's just all it's going to need is that pulley and the belt. Okay, so back under the hood, that's where the clip goes, is right there. I know we didn't tune this thing up. I don't recall. I think we put a coil on this last. I didn't do it, but I think that's the only thing we did. So there's a 15 millimeter or a 16 millimeter. Chrysler likes to use a 16 or a 5/8 on this side for some things. So I know like these are 16s or 5/8. But let me go get a 15 and see if I can't get that off of there. Get that pulley out and see what's going on. So there we go. We got it out. It was a 15 millimeter. But the power of spring steel, because this is spring steel or tensile steel, whatever the heck you call it. But check that out. Actually dug right into it. So this, you know, if I was on the road or something like that, I would probably sand that down. But we're just going to put a pulley on this thing because I bet you anything, it probably hurt the bearing in the process too, because it jammed it in there so tight. All right, so let me get that stuff on its way, and then we're going to get this replaced. So we got the new belt. Daco, we got this from Advanced. Here's the new pulley. Some of the pulleys will actually come with a new shouldered washer that goes inside. If I can, I will use the original. Sometimes you can't because it might be a slightly different size, you never know. But you need to install these because it sets the depth for that inner race. And this way it provides a load on the inner race and not the outer race, because it's the inner race that spins on there. So all right, so now we're just going to reverse procedure to install, in case you're curious. This was a Daco 89098. Got a heck of a lot of shadow in the shop now because they replaced the lights, and those things are like bright as all get out, so you can see my shadow over here. So it's kind of hard not to stand in the way. So, all right, let's get this pulley on, get that bolt back in. Like I said, that was a 15, and then we're going to go from underneath to put the belt on. Now, one thing I neglected to show you was the tensioner itself is actually okay. Here, this is the tool that I use, and it's got excellent spring tension. It doesn't bind up, so I'm happy with that. So now it's a matter of routing the belt. It's I don't have any way, I always say this, but I really don't. I don't have any way of actually holding the camera and showing you how this is done. But I'm going to route it in place, and then I'll just show you the end result. So there you go, it's in place. Getting the belt around the tensioner, you have to put the tool on there and pull the tensioner down, because otherwise this pulley is just too darn close up top to get the belt over, because you got to go from the backside and flip it in. But that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the cover back on, let this thing down. I'm afraid this guy might have overheated it, because I see some signs that some coolant sprayed out. So I don't know. Hopefully he didn't damage anything. But I got to double check the coolant level and stuff like that. So let's get this cover on. Let's let this down. We're going to go from there. So there we go. Not a big deal. It's just those 3 clips. It's back in place. I'm not sure if I should. Yeah, you know what? Let me get a clip for over here so I can actually attach that correctly, because this is sandwiched in between, so it's not a big deal. It's actually got a broken clip inside there, but I had to push that up and through. All right, let me do that. And that's a little bit better there. At least it's not going to go anywhere. Now, when I said I saw signs of Coolant Net, if you look down there, see that? That's down in that valley there. That's coolant. It's not like oil or anything. So I'm just curious if possibly he overheated it. I mean, it's a little bit low. I'm going to add some water to that. I got to double check the reservoir. But let me get that added, and then let's start this up. Okay, so that's topped off right here. I did fill up the bottle there, and it did take probably about a half a gallon. I put antifreeze in the bottle. I just topped off the radiator with water because the antifreeze looked so green. Oops, I'm gonna have to go this way. As you can see, like I said, this thing's got the full handicap controls. Got a check engine light. don't know if it had it before, so I'm going to probably scan it and see what's there, just to be on the safe side. But she sounds good. I'm not overly concerned. All right, let me let it down from the lift, push it back a little bit this way, and then I'll check the codes. So there we go. We got the scanner hooked up. Going to engine. Let's see what we got. Charging system voltage too low. EVAP very small leak. That was probably there before. All right, we're just going to erase this. Now, Chrysler, you have to shut off. You can't erase while it's running. GMs, you can clear while it's running. Okay. And yes, the check engine light is out. So, let's take it for a road test and see what we got. There's something else I was going to say now. I forgot what it was. If I remember on the road test, I'll tell you. Let's go. So everything on the road test went fine. I had no issues. It runs great. Obviously the check engine light was because it broken belt. It's not overheating or anything like that, so hopefully everything should be fine with that. Yeah, that was a real freak though. I mean, think about it, that clip coming off, I didn't replace it. I don't have a replacement clip, and I'm not going to use that one because that one was bent. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully, I believe everything should be fine. I took it for like a 15-mile road test, so everything should be fine. I would certainly, I don't want to give back a car to a customer with a potential problem, especially somebody in this scenario where they really rely on their vehicle because they're handicapped. It's just, I would never do that. So, always go the little extra mile just to make sure that, everything is the way it should be. So, anyway, if you look in the description section, you'll see I have links through Amazon to different products that I personally use. And it's good stuff. Most of it's inexpensive stuff, but it's good for the at-home mechanic. But it's like I said, it's stuff that I use too. So even for the professional, stuff is pretty good. Yeah. So that's about it. If you could just give a click, even if you don't buy anything, clicks help. So if you can, I'd appreciate it. All right. So hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Tell your friends too. Tell them to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a great day.